Today, we're going on an exciting space adventure. Can you imagine a galaxy full of stars, planets, and incredible space battles? Well, buckle up, because we're about to zoom through the story of Star Wars Episode I, The Phantom Menace, in just 15 minutes. Did you know there are heroes with glowing swords and super-fast spaceships? And there's even a secret villain hiding in the shadows. Who could it be? Stick around and let's find out together. Are you ready to blast off into this amazing space story? Let's go.
2. Jedi Quagga and Jean, in his pad, join Obi-Wan Kenobi on board the Exchange Organization lead and anticipate a gathering with emissary new firearm Rey. Unbeknownst to the Jedi, the underhanded Sith ruler Darth Sidious orders the Exchange Organization to kill them and start an intrusion of Naboo, Qui-Gon, and Obi-Wan. Notice a Wheeze occupying the room they had been brought to and set themselves up to battle their direction to the boat's order deck. The pair are fruitless in arriving at the emissary and go to their boat, just to find the Exchange Alliance had annihilated it. Thinking quick, the Jedi put away themselves onto Exchange Alliance landing makes went to the outer layer of Naboo. Sovereign Amidala of Naboo contacts the Exchange League, making her dismay with the bar understood and asking about the Chancellor's Jedi ministers. The emissary guarantees her this activity had been Senate endorsed and that no such Jedi had shown up. Soon after, Sovereign Amidala and the other Naboo authorities talk with the Cosmic Republic representative from Naboo, She Palpatine, through a 3D image. The senator informs the officials that the Chancellor had confirmation his Jedi ambassadors had arrived. Suddenly, the holo communications cut out. Naboo Governor Seo Babel theorizes that this is the work of the Trade Federation and that an attack was imminent. Meanwhile, the Jedi make their way to the Naboo surface while attempting to avoid the Trade Federation droid army's attention. Gunn saves a strange creature from being crushed by a transport ship. This creature introduces himself to the Jedi as Youngan Jar Jar Binks. Although cast out by his people, Jar Jar agrees to take the Jedi to a secret underwater city to ask the Gunmans for their assistance in the current conflict. Leader of the Youngans, Boss Ness, refuses to help and casts them away as they begin to make their way to the capital city of Naboo. The Trade Federation begins their invasion of Naboo and is able to capture Queen Amidala and the other Naboo officials. The Jedi and their new Gungan friends arrive in time to free the Queen and several of her associates. They manage to escape the planet and urgently head to Coruscant, the home of the Galactic Republic Senate. However, hyperdrive issues cause their ship to make a landing on a nearby planet. To win in hopes of acquiring parts to make these much-needed repairs on Tato, Qui-Gon, Jar Jar, and astromech droid R2-D2 set out to the nearest town. Captain Pinaka, Queen Amidala's royal security advisor, informs Qui-Gon that the Queen had requested one of her handmaidens, Padme, to go with them. The four of them stumble upon a junk shop run by a Toydarian, Watto, with help from his young slave, Anakin Skywalker. Watto refuses to help Qui-Gon after learning he only has Republic credits, a currency worthless on Tatooine. Afraid of an oncoming sandstorm, Watto offers shelter to the lost travelers. Here, Qui-Gon senses and Anakin's abilities in the Force are strong enough that he believes Anakin to fulfill an old Jedi prophecy, a chosen one born to no father who could be capable of bringing balance to the Force. Qui-Gon eventually discovers Anakin's midi-chlorian count to be off the chart because of Anakin's ability in the Force. He is the only human who's able to compete in pod racing events. The group crafts a plan to enter Anakin into an upcoming pod race, wagering a bet with Watto. If we win, you keep all the winnings minus the cost of the part. If we lose, you keep my ship. Either way, you win. The next day, Anakin wins the pod race, acquiring the replacement parts for his friends and freeing himself from slavery. Anakin leaves his mother behind to head with the Queen and the Jedi to Coruscant before the group could take off in their newly repaired ship. Darth Sidious sends his Sith apprentice, Darth Maul, to kill the Jedi and capture the Queen. Qui-Gon duels with Maul and narrowly escapes on Coruscant. Qui-Gon speaks with the Jedi Council, informing them of his recent encounter with a dark side user. The Jedi become worried that they may be dealing with a re-emergence of the Sith, a group of dark side Force users thought to be extinct. He also informs the Council of Anakin Skywalker and his belief that this child is the chosen one. The Council tests Anakin but ultimately deems him too old and harboring too much fear and uncertainty to be properly trained as a Jedi. At the same time, Queen Amidala addresses the Galactic Senate about the situation on Naboo. The discussion seems to be going nowhere. Senator Palpatine urges the Queen to call for a vote of no confidence in the current Supreme Chancellor. Palpatine, however, would be running for that newly vacated position and promised the Queen assistance, fearing for her planet. The Queen decided to return to Naboo. The Jedi Council would send both Qui and Obi-Wan to accompany her in case of any further Sith involvement. Unwanted at the Jedi Temple and with nowhere else to go, little Skywalker would accompany them as well. Back on Naboo, Queen Amidala attempts to locate the Gungans, having left their underwater city. Jar Jar leads them to the sunken secret place, and Amidala pleads with Boss Nass to unite against the Trade Federation. In the middle of the Queen's speech, handmaiden Padme steps forth to reveal that she was the true Queen Amidala, and that the individual they thought to be the Queen was her decoy, a handmaiden named Sabi. The Gungans, impressed by her honesty and humility, agree to use their military forces to engage the Trade Federation in battle. The gangs would lead a charge against the Trade Federation's droid army. While Padme, Qui-Gon, Obi-Wan, and other Naboo security would rush the Naboo palace, trying to take back the throne room, the Battle of Naboo is soon underway. The gangs press on with their attack as several Naboo starships took off for an aerial attack on the Trade Federation command ship. Padme, the Jedi, and the other security officers begin their infiltration of the Naboo palace. However, while making their way into a hangar bay, the Jedi are interrupted by Darth Maul, who hides in a starship waiting out the battle. As Padme and her security forces run off to continue their pursuit of the throne room, they are soon captured by droids and brought to the head of the Trade Federation, Nu Gun. Thankfully, due to the confusion caused by the Queen's double, Sabe appeared and was able to divert his attention, allowing Padme and Pinaka to use weapons hidden in the Queen's throne to overpower the Trade Federation officials. Accompanied by R2-D2, Sabe accidentally starts up the starship he had been hiding in, working on automatic pilot. The ship speeds off towards the Trade Federation command ship, trying to take control of the ship and winds up inside the command ship itself. He deploys weapons and destroys the ship from the inside. As soon as this happens, the droid army fighting the Gungans begins to malfunction and power off, having received their commands solely from the now destroyed ship back in the hangar bay. Darth Maul uses his double-sided lightsaber to battle Jedi Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon. The Sith Lord backs across catwalks to a generator complex. Maul kicks Obi-Wan off of one of the catwalks, and as he lands on one below, it separates the two Jedi. By the time Obi-Wan could return to his master's aid, all three Force users were separated by a force field created by the generators. Maul furiously stalks, waiting for the force fields to open again while Qui-Gon kneels, meditating. The force fields reopen, and Qui-Gon and Maul continue to battle. Just before Obi-Wan could reach the end of the force fields, he's trapped behind them once again, watching as Maul drives his lightsaber hilt into the chin of Qui-Gon, stunning him and allowing Maul to pierce his midsection with his blade. Obi-Wan watches in horror. The force field retracts, and Obi-Wan bursts towards Maul, eventually slicing Maul's double-sided lightsaber in half. Maul, however, is able to force push Obi-Wan over the edge of a reactor shaft. Obi-Wan grabs onto a pipe jutting out of the shaft, hanging there while Maul taunts his prey. Catching Maul off guard, Obi-Wan leaps out of the reactor shaft, using the Force to draw Qui-Gon's lightsaber toward him, and cuts Maul cleanly in half. Maul falls into the endless reactor shaft, defeated. Obi-Wan rushes to Qui-Gon's body, cradling him. Qui-Gon speaks his final words to Obi-Wan, "Promise me you will train the boy. He is the chosen one. He will bring balance. Train him." Obi-Wan agrees. Soon after the battle's end, the newly appointed Chancellor Palpatine arrives to congratulate Naboo on their victory, taking particular interest in the young boy who destroyed the command ship, effectively ending the conflict. Later, Jedi Master Yoda speaks with Obi-Wan, granting him the rank of a full Jedi Knight. Obi-Wan reveals the promise he had made to Qui-Gon before his death. Grudgingly, Yoda tells him that the Council will allow Anakin to become Obi-Wan's apprentice. That evening, a funeral is held for Qui-Gon, cremating his body as Jedi and Naboo officials watch on. Obi-Wan tells young Anakin of his future as a Jedi Padawan. 2 days after the end of the Battle of Naboo, the Naboo people, the Gungans, as well as their Republic guests, rejoice in the streets of Naboo, its capital, putting an end to the heated battle with the Trade Federation and making amends between their two civilizations.